Oil curse, its Hoima district. A journey through the oil spills of 𝙏𝙝𝙖𝙣 kingdom. In Nigeria, over 2 decades, salt was called out for its destruction of Niger Delta. Oil still contaminates the land, and many African governments has learned nothing about oil spills in Ogoni land in Nigeria. In Hoima, 𝙏𝙝𝙖𝙣 kingdom, the curse of oil is about to begin its journey. Sooner or later, the first thing that is going to hit the people in the area is the smell of crude oil polluting the air. And believe me, the cleaning of the mess might be left for the government to handle. Most investors usually come out clear without even taking responsibilities for the mess they make. Look at shell activities in Ogoni land in Nigeria. We have learned nothing from it. We have learned nothing. There is lack of action. And that, and lack of justice when it comes to poisoning of our own people through pollution. What has happened in Ogoni land in Nigeria due to oil spills is very clear. It's everywhere. It's written. Even the people of Ogoni land brought Shaw into court here in the Netherlands. Oil spills scare is causing panic in Hoima district as I speak. We all know that discovery of oil in Uganda is a blessing on one hand and a curse for our people. If those companies who are handling the oil industry don't take proper measures to make sure that it does not turn into a silent killer, then a lot of our people are going to suffer, because oil spill is not a joke, and it's not something we have to take lightly. We have seen a lot of its effect in places like Nigeria, where pollution of water and farmland can lead to health problems. Lead to health problems. Residents and local leaders in Kibero village, Kigorobia sub-county in Hoima district expressed worry over oil spill after geothermal exploration hole exploded, letting off spillage into the village and Lake Albert. This is a wake-up call and warning to the people of Uganda that it's nice to have oil, but the worst day is still to come if we don't plan properly. This is just the beginning. I understand that one of the holes that were being drilled exploded, letting out a waxy mixture containing crude oil, which smelled like gasoline. The explosion of one of the geothermal exploration holes that happened on Saturday night is a warning sign. If that can happen, then what about if a earthquake strike Hoima district? If the explosion can just happen, what about if the earthquake strike Hoima district? We could be in for real disaster. We know that the government awarded a 2.3 billion contract to Royal Techno Industries Limited to drill 8 temperature gradient holes to exploit geothermal energy at the famous hot spring. It is not a bad idea to have oil which will generate income for the state. But we have to be careful and take all necessary measures to protect the health of our people. Those involved in exploration of just oil field should be held accountable to the risk of just undertaking. We have to make sure that they abide with health regulation in and around the oil field. I understand. We all need to generate money so that we can develop that country of ours. But there's one thing that should be very clear in the mind of our leaders. That the business of drilling oil is a risky business. And if we go for a risky business, then we have to understand that we should be capable of working out the consequences that may follow. That we make sure we protect our people to the maximum. We have to make sure if just accident happen, as it happened on that Saturday in Hoima, it does not lead to the contamination of our drinking water, because our people depend on drinking water. They have to be protected. Their interests has to be protected, and the people must be protected. I understand that what happened there is not welcome by the local people. By the local people and the Bunyoro Kingdom officials. I agree with them that there is need to be concerned about oil spills. Their fear about the activities around the oil field will destroy the ecosystem and frustrate tourism in future. Salt production may also be at risk, which is going to be threatened. Not only the salt production, even the hot spring itself could be under threat. Because the accident that happened recently is a very clear warning that must be taken seriously. Because if we don't, then sooner or later, another explosion is going to happen, and we are going to be in real problem. It is very disturbing when such disaster happen and you don't hear anything from the responsible parties. They should have come out openly and give the people in that area assurance that their health is not in danger. They didn't do it. And if they did, then it has taken long before they turn around and say, we are doing everything possible to make sure that this sort of accident never happen again. You see, the problem with the media of today is that there are things that are happening outside the main playground, like Kampala and Tebe and Jinja, that are near the media houses. It is difficult to go around and check up the facts about how bad the situation is. But when it comes to explosion, when a hole that is being drilled for oil explode, it is not something that you should take lightly. It is not. Some of you may think that is a joke, but that is not a joke. As I said before, when they come out, they tell you what you want to hear, because they are in the business of making money. But the real truth is always left behind, because that is the source of money that keep the ministry going. That is the source of money that is used also for paying salaries for those who are involved in that type of job. I understand that the Ministry of Energy said that the drilling will go on and that they will respond on any issues that would arise. That statement from the Ministry of Energy does not give the people of 𝙁𝙗𝙪 Kingdom any comfort at all. They should have come out with clear point of action to make sure that history does not repeat itself. We have reached a point where we are only interested in income generation as a state. We pay more attention to investors than to our own population welfare and health. When one of the holes exploded, there was a lot of spills, including crude oil. But the ministry is not telling us what immediate action they and the parties concerned have taken or are doing to clean up the mess. They never came out and told us what sort of regulation they have put forward to make sure that such incident won't happen again. They should have come forward and level with the people of 𝙁𝙗𝙪. But instead, they left them in doubt, not knowing what will happen next. The smell around the oil field, people could smell a mixture of spilled crude oil that is flowing even to Lake Albert. Even fishermen are struggling to wash their nets in vain. The damage has already been done. We are just waiting to catch up the health hazard on our people later. You hear from eyewitness saying that the spill is now floating in the lake. We used to think that oil spill was only bad in Nigeria, but those Skinner is reaching Uganda faster than what we could believe in. It has reached Uganda. Hoima is the first district to taste the curse of oil. But if we don't watch the space, it will become worse and worse. Most of you may be thinking that it is a joke. We need the oil. We need the job to generate money. We need to develop our country. And let me tell you something. If the pollution becomes worse, if the fish you're eating from the lake becomes contaminated, if the drink water you use becomes contaminated, then later our people are going to start developing strange sickness. Some may die, some may survive. But is that what we really want? If we really want development, if he really wants that oil, let's take all necessary measures to protect the oil field itself, that no explosion happen, and to make sure that the health of our people come first. What our people should know, that any investor who comes to exploit that oil, who comes to drill that oil, is doing it because they want to make money. Nobody comes and say, okay, I'm going to drill the oil for you and I get nothing from it. They are there to make maximum profit. They are there to make sure when they leave with enough money. And when they leave, and you have problem, like the one in Ogoniland in Nigeria, we are cleaning up the mess those people who leave behind, will take years and years before all the problem is solved. And it's going to cause problem from generation to generation. To clean it completely out, cleaning it completely out may be a big problem for our people. But for those who say, okay, that is nice, we can make quick money very fast and developed, we are going to have good road, good school, forget it. You may not even taste a single cent that oil is going to bring, because most of the money would then be used to clean up the mess. And those investors will not be there to do the cleaning for you. You'll have to do it yourself. So let's think twice before we burn our fingers. Let's think twice, because before we put the health of our people in danger. And I hope the parliamentarians in Bunyoro will go out and see for themselves and investigate and come out with the truth about what happened in that oil field. I understand that the exploration holes are about 200 meters from the lake. That is very close indeed. What is going to happen to our drinking water? Our people usually get their water from the lake, but now you have to turn somewhere else to buy drinking water. I understand there was a lot of gas released and no one knows the effect this will have on our people. What is going to happen to a population of about 800 people, of about 5 households in the immediate area of drilling? The Ministry of Energy didn't tell us anything that can give the people a bit of comfort. The oil cash is just taking off in Hoima, Bunyoro Kingdom, and the rest of Uganda with oil's hub will follow soon. Believe me, will follow soon. Some of you may take these spills causing panic in Hoima district as a joke. Some of you may take it as a joke. But brothers and sisters, this is the real thing. We have seen Nigerian people taking Shell Oil Company to court in the Netherlands. If you follow their story, if you follow their history, then you can understand that our oil curse is just beginning. It's just beginning. And we have a long way to go. If we don't handle the explosion in Hoima seriously. When I read that the people in Bunyoro Kingdom are concerned, now I begin to understand why they are concerned. And we have to thank them for being vigilant to what is happening in their homeland. Kibero is a 100-year historical site that had been producing salt for a long time. It is well maintained. The oil spills means they will not be able to produce salt for some time. It means it will not be of use for some time because whatever is produced could have the spill of crude oil in its contents. The risk to health and livelihood of the people and its effect on environment could lead to unseen disaster. So I understand their worries. I understand why they are concerned. I understand that the Ministry of Energy said that some work is being done there. For geothermal drilling, that the drilling fluids came out. The drilling fluid spilled around decide that they are working to establish the spill. They are working to establish the spill and try to do something about it. They wanted to find out whether the spill reached the lake, but the people, the eyewitness, were saying they saw oil in the lakes. So I don't understand what sort of investigation the ministry is doing if the people can see it. I wonder why the investigators cannot see it. I hope sooner or later they'll come out and tell us the truth. The residents said the spill reached the lake. The ministry says we are still investigating. Let them investigate. We wish them all the best. It seems as if the ministry is behind real fact. It is time they wake up and take the oil cause very seriously. The spills of crude oil is going to affect crops. When you plant, it is going to die. Will contaminate the local water and is going to affect the entire community. And the health risk is a norm, and nobody knows what will happen in the long run. Let's hope we are not going to become oil refugees in our own community in the future. Let's hope the oil spills will destroy. Let's hope the oil spill will not destroy the future of our children, grandchildren, or force them to die young. I hope the Minister of Energy will come out and bail the people of Bunyoro Kingdom out of this mess. Development, we need it. Let's use development for something nice. Let's use development for protecting our health, not destroying our health, and that of a generation to come. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. I will be back.